very special day for all of us. It's a day when Pujya Lalaji Maharaj descended, 2nd February 1873. Though this is not 2nd February, it corresponds with the lunar cycle we call Basant Panchami. When we read his works, especially from Truth Eternal, and as we spend more and more time with each word, try to contemplate on the meaning of it, why he says certain things, there's a wealth, ocean of knowledge in every word, in every sentence of this Truth Eternal. He plays with a lot of stuff, but everywhere he'll say, oh, there are 3 things here, 3 things there, 3 things here. Everything's are in threes. Qualities, bodies, knowledge, so many things. I'd like to bring to your attention further on 3 bodies: causal, corresponding to our soul; subtle body we call Sukshma Sharir; Sthula Sharir, which is our grosser body. He leaves the seeds of this knowledge, but what do we do when we understand all these things? Grosser body is this, okay. Can it evolve? It grows fat and thin, depending on our metabolism, say, but it cannot evolve. Soul in its purity cannot evolve also. It's what it is, original. Then what is evolving is something in between the subtle body. And then he goes on expanding that this subtle body has 4 main composites: Chitta, Buddhi, Manas, Ahankar. Now, let's think further on what it becomes when they evolve, these 4 main parts. I try to focus mainly on the Manas part of it, which is thinking. How does it evolve? To what extent? What can thinking evolve into? Into feelings. We interact with each other. We don't analyze from here. The projects are there in front of you. Business projects, marriage proposals, your travel itinerary, this doctor or that doctor, which medications. Thinking doesn't help much, though if we think rightly, it always leads to the same thing if you allow the feelings also to go along with. Instead of analyzing, if a person is evolved, he straight away feels things, the fraction of a second. Now I come back to this aspect of thinking, how this constancy is cultivated. Right from the first day of our introduction into Sahaj Marg, we are told by our preceptors, this is how we meditate. How? Think of the divine light present in the heart. This thinking, then we develop a sort of constancy in this process of thinking, and we remain in a state of meditation. Slowly, this thinking develops into occasional feeling of presence of Master. We remain enchanted with his feelings. Then we start craving for more and more of feelings of Master. So much so that bedtime we pray to Master, please be with me all through the night. I'd like to feel your presence. Now when we talk of Master, I'm not talking of physical master. So, from this habit of constant thinking during meditation to constantly feeling the presence of Master, culminates into another state of being in the state. So somewhere between this constantly feeling and constantly being in that purity keeps our presence in the Master's mental womb without being disturbed. And then He can deliver us as spiritual entity into the brighter world. Here in Sahasmarg, the impact of this process is much greater, unlike mere liberation. What really happens after the soul passes on? Yesterday we talked about Samadhi, we talked about Pralaya, we talked about Mahapralaya in a very short way. For such a person, having its familiar spiritual entity into the brighter world, when soul departs from this world, it fuses itself after liberation with the spiritual entity, becomes Mahasamadhi. So it's not ordinary death, because many are liberated, but rarely there is a fusion of spiritual entity and that of the liberated soul. Let's go back to our steps, how we come to this level of evolution. Constant thinking that we have been taught with, we graduate slowly into constant feeling. We call it constant remembrance, where there is osmosis between our lower self and higher self, between ourselves and the great masters. Then this constant feeling to constantly being in that state. Then after there is another state that unfolds on its own, where you become. No more efforts are required of thinking, feeling or being. You become. Then we unbecome into a state of absolute nothingness, so highly praised in Sahasmarg. Some may ask, why can't we go from whatever we are here into straight away into nothingness? Why go through this thinking, feeling, being, becoming, non-becoming and nothingness? Why go through these steps? Once Master talked about renunciation. You got to have something to renunciate. A person who has nothing with himself is a pauper, not even a hut for himself or herself. What is he going to renunciate? So even to renounce spiritually, I must earn the spiritual capital up and then say, okay, basta. That is also the load. I must get rid of it and become that whatever that was before the creation began. So please think about what waits ahead. The seeds of this evolution are in this meditation only. No grace from Master, no transmission from Master, No blessings of gods is going to create all these things instantly. We have to earn it. One of the talks from Master, he said, I have found after so many years of being in Sahaj Marg, very recently spoke, that Sahaj Marg is not a guru-based system or God-based system. It is Abhyasi-based system, means Abhyas. So again and again we come down to this simple thing, Abhyas, dedicated Abhyas.